Hello and welcome to Freedom News, the news you can use to help keep Canada free. There's been a lot of talk in the news lately of the attack on a mosque in Christchurch, New Zealand. But no one, as we know, is discussing the persecuted church. Not in the mainstream media, not by any government officials. The odd conservative politician. Thank you, Brad Trost, for speaking up about this. But there are, of course, attacks done on the persecuted church on a fairly daily basis all over the world. And in one case in particular, it's Nigeria. We have reports there of 33 Christians being slaughtered back on the 4th of March 2019. Sorry if it feels like I'm slowing down my speech. It's not due to anything of self-confidence. It's just a bit emotional. I just finished watching a video, which I will share with you, from Voice of the Martyrs Canada about the attack in Nigeria. Like I said, I will be sharing it with you. These people, Voice of the Martyrs, are amazing people. They do so good. And I urge you to share this video far and wide. And if you can, support the work they do. They're a blessing to Christians all over the world. Thank you.
The murderous activities of militant Islamic groups like Boko Haram and the Fulani herdsmen have caused indescribable pain and suffering to families all over Nigeria, and often Christians are the targets of these violent and deadly attacks. Thousands of women have been left widows and children now orphans as a result of this path of destruction. In the southern part of Kaduna State in northwestern Nigeria, Pastor Gideon Mutum explains what's behind the years of repeated attacks on the followers of Jesus.
Is the violence that has gone on for quite some years now in the southern part of Kaduna is perpetrated by Fulani herdsmen with the aim of land grasping, land taking. It also has a political phase. It also carried a phase of jihadist Islamic penetration in the region of southern Kaduna. And if I can take it further, I can say to you in the middle belt of Nigeria.
Victoria Aliyah and Janet El Kelly are just two of the many women in southern Kaduna who have suffered under this brutal violence. They have lost more than just their husbands in these targeted attacks against Christian farmers. Sadly, Victoria would lose 3 members of her family.
Southern Kaduna was invaded by Fulani herdsmen, and my village was one of the ones that was targeted. It was surrounded by the Fulani herdsmen on September 16, 2016. My husband, his father, and my father told me and the children to leave the village and go to another village to find safety.
Victoria and her 6 children would take their chances and flee.
As we were leaving the village, the next day one of my sons was killed. Later, another son was shot and killed by Fulani herdsmen on January 6, 2017. And then, on February 23rd, I lost my husband, who was also killed by the Fulani herdsmen.
Victoria says that she and her 4 surviving children, aged 10 to 22, live in constant fear that those who killed her loved ones and friends could return at any moment.
They are still surrounding our village, and the security is not good. We don't have a security unit there to protect us.
Victoria has thoughts about leaving again, but it's not that simple.
The problem I would have is that my livelihood is there. Every time I think about leaving, I wonder if I will be able to do anything there. Also, every community in South Kaduna is afraid of the Fulani herdsmen.
Janet L. Kelly also worries about her future. Janet's world would forever be changed after the events that took place in her village of Tedun Wada on September 16, 2016.
We heard gunshots close to us. We heard there were armed bandits robbing people, but we realized it was actually Fulani herdsmen that killed 2 people, and then they ran into the bush.
News quickly spread of the attacks by this murderous gang of herdsmen, including those working in the fields.
Anyone that was on the farmland ran away to the village because the Fulani people had taken over. We managed to make it through the night, but the next day there still wasn't security from anywhere. The youth attempted to guard the entrances to the village and protect us from the Fulani invasion.
Janet says for the next 10 days, the people of her village were able to keep the Fulani militants from entering. But on September 23rd, their greatest fears were realized as they could no longer hold them off. And that would prove to be devastating for Janet, a mother of 3 teenage children.
When they came in, they killed 3 family members, including my husband.
2 of Janet's nephews, aged 16 and 19, also lost their lives that day at the hands of the herdsmen.
I was surrounded by people when my husband died, and I received encouragement from them. And also the Word of God really strengthened me to this day.
The community lives on edge, knowing the attacks could happen again at any time.
The Fulani people use our land for grazing, and when we talk to them about it, they attack us. This year, we found them grazing our land. I'm afraid because what happened in 2016 is repeating itself as they go on our farmland.
I mean, after these horrible things happened to your families, how have you been able to forgive those that did these terrible things to you, to your family, and your community?
It's amazing that I have forgiven. How do I know that? One day there was a heavy downpour of rain that drove some of the Fulanis from their settlement. They came to my house looking for shelter for the night. I opened my house to them and gave them shelter. I also gave them food when they passed through our farmland. I have forgiven them.
To lose my sons, who were 20 and 17, and losing my husband, it was not easy for me to forgive. But because I prayed, and with God helping me, and the Christians in the church, and getting comfort from His Word, that really helped.
I know that you both have been through so much trauma. You've lost family members, you've lost friends, but you still know that there are Christians in other parts of the world, like Canada with the Voice of the Martyrs, Christian Solidarity Worldwide here in Nigeria with vocational training. Tell me about that.
I was trained in sewing and making purses that women can use, and they are selling. I can also sew clothes. I sew my own clothes as well. My livelihood has increased out of the vocational training I received. By the grace of God, I was able to pay for my children's school fees out of it. I was able to roof my house out of the proceeds. This really helped me.
I make liquid soap. This liquid soap is used to wash cars. I also make soap to wash clothes to sell. I also make room fresheners and shampoo.
So you find that empowering 40 women is like empowering an entire village. So these widows what they were able to get, they are putting it into work, and I can see it. Some of them were able to roof their houses that were burned. Some of them were able to send their children to school. Some of them, they are able to get food on their table. And some of them can be able, I can tell you categorically, I know one of them that was able to pay hospital bill from the proceeds of that training.
I thank God for the Christians in Nigeria and abroad for supporting us and who stand by us at our time of great need. I can tell you the support I receive from the vocational training is keeping me going now. My 18-year-old daughter is now on her way to the College of Education for Training because of the money I made from the business.
I am saying thank you to the people of Canada that came to help us with that support.
For more on how you can help persecuted Christians in Nigeria and around the world, visit the Voice of the Martyrs website at vomcanada.com or call 905-670-9721.
Well, that's all I have for today. Like if you like, share, comment, and of course, subscribe. And remember, working together, we can help keep Canada free. Thank you, and have a good day.